So for the last few months, I've been working with some amazing talent to get the audiobook of What I Didn't Say produced, and I'm happy to say that it is now done. It is available for download. You can grab a copy at audible.com, Amazon, and iTunes. I just want to give a quick shout out to Matthew Donahue, who was the narrator and producer for the audiobook. He did a fantastic job. He really captured the voice of Jake Hayes. He did a great job portraying how Jake feels throughout the book and just really the overall tone of the story. He did a great job, and I hope that you will go and grab a copy of it. For you right here today, I have a little sample of the audiobook. This would be, if the book had traditional chapters, this would be the first chapter of the book, but really it's just kind of the first section. So I hope you enjoy it, and make sure you go and grab a copy.
10 months till the Air Force. 3 weeks since school started. There were 3 things that I knew for sure about Orcas Island. 1. The people here were generally weird. Half of its residents were your run-of-the-mill hippies. The other half was a mix of extreme liberals, hermits, and multimillionaires. Then there was a dash of us normal people. 2. I came from the biggest family on the island. 7 kids made our family stand out, and everyone on the island knew who the Hayeses were. 3. I knew everyone here just a little too well. As I walked through the halls of Orcas High School, I could tell you the name of every single face that passed by. I could tell you that Christy Rose had lost her first tooth biting into a spoonful of macaroni and cheese in the 1st grade. I could tell you that Henry Asher had peed his pants the first day of kindergarten. I knew that Miss Pence, who taught ancient world history, attended hippie dance parties regularly in the Buff. I'd rather not say how I knew that one. And Principal Hill was a die-hard Star Wars fan and had half a garage full of action figures, posters, costumes, and way too real-looking lightsabers. On an island this size, with its whopping 5,000 residents, there are no secrets. Hayes, my best friend since the first day of kindergarten, Carter Hill, called from behind me. A second later, his hand slapped down on my shoulder. "Your family doing the team dinner tonight?" "My mom's been cooking nonstop since last night," I said, as I stopped in front of my locker and yanked it open. "You know how she gets about these things." "Hey, I'm not complaining. Your mom's the only one who actually makes enough food. I'm not full until I feel like I'm going to hurl." Carter laughed as he dug into his locker, which had been next to mine since freshman year. "Just try to make it to the backyard this time, okay?" I sighed. The carpet had smelled off for weeks after last year's team dinner. "We talking about Carter's epic dinner hurl?" Rain Jones asked, opening his locker that was just a few down from ours as the warning bell sounded. "Unfortunately," I said as I pulled out my AP history book and stuffed it into my frayed backpack. I should have let Mom get me a new one at the beginning of the year when she offered. "We eating in the backyard again?" Rain asked, unabashedly staring at my 16-year-old sister Jordan as she walked by. "Dude," I said, shaking my head at Rain. "Don't do that in front of me, it's gross." "What?" he said, still staring after her. "She's hot." "Seriously, just stop," I said, as I closed my locker and headed toward class. Rain whistled after Jordan in an attempt to draw a punch out of me. He wasn't going to get the satisfaction. The AP history class wasn't exactly full. With only 37 students in the senior class, a good handful of those on the verge of already dropping out, even though we were only 3 weeks into the school year, and another good handful of full-time potheads, that didn't leave many qualified to enroll in any AP classes, all 5 of them that our tiny school offered. "Hey, Sam," I tried to keep my voice cool as I slid into my desk. "Hey, Jake," she smiled as she glanced over at me just briefly. "You coming to the game tomorrow night?" I wiped my palms against my shorts. Why was I sweating so bad? "Depends on how much homework Mr. Hill gives us today," she rolled her eyes. It was a well-known fact that Samantha had the heaviest school load out of all the students in the high school. She was enrolled in every single AP class except for European history, which she had aced last year, and if I remembered correctly, she also had several independent study classes. She was on track to be the valedictorian. "It's homecoming. Would be a shame to miss it." Samantha gave me a little smile before her eyes darted back to her book. Her mind was already elsewhere. I tried to turn my attention to Principal Hill's lesson on some war, or maybe it was about U.S. economics. All I could think about was the way Samantha shifted in her chair how her dark auburn hair fanned across her shoulder, the way she held her face in her hand. Someday I'll tell her, I thought. I still couldn't figure what that final week of school last year had been about. Samantha had been almost flirtatious. My eyes would meet hers unexpectedly. She'd stand just a little too close at times. She even invited me to go to a movie with her and her friends, which I'd quite unfortunately had to bail out of last minute due to family drama. Thanks, Jenny. But this school year, nothing. It was like Sam was no more than an acquaintance. She was all schoolwork and no wandering eyes. "Earth to JK's," a voice from the front of the room called. My eyes snapped up to Principal Hill's face, where he stared at me expectantly. "Care to tune in for a while?" he asked, one of his dark eyebrows arched. "Sorry, Principal Hill," I said, opening my book and trying to look busy with a notebook and pen. The class chuckled. I felt my face flush as I glanced over at Samantha. She had a tiny smile on her lips, but she kept her eyes glued to the pages of her book. Daydreaming about Samantha Shea was about as good as daydreaming about catching the eye of a Victoria's Secret model, or maybe the princess of some faraway land. It wasn't that I was too ugly to stand next to Sam. No one caught Sam Shea's eye. At least, not anymore. Everyone knew the only thing Sam could see was schoolwork and the finish line that was graduation. It was bizarre. A girl as pretty as Sam didn't usually equal such enormously big brains and educational commitment. She was smarter than all of us, and it only made me want her more.